So, Jamie, when was the moment in time you realized you weren't going to be a professional athlete?
So I played soccer.
Okay.
I played in college. I went to Boston University. I went to a D3 school first, and I crushed it. I was like, oh, look at me. I'm killing this thing. I go to a D1 school. I walk on. I make the team. I play, and the whole team is like mostly international. There's only a couple of Americans on it. And we go to do like sprints the first day, and there's a dude on the team, and in a 100-yard dash, he beat me by like 40 yards. Like I can't guard that guy.
Twice.
Especially in soccer. That's your specialty too.
Yeah.
Like the guys in the English Premier League, they're all like world champions. No one is catching that dude.
Right. I was explaining to him what box to box was.
Yeah, that was one thing.
Yeah.
Just like while we're hanging out. He's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, you can't, you're going to be tired. You're running 5 miles a game. You're playing.
Well, the NFL, I mean, you see some of the, let me ask you, because you see guys in college and you're like, oh my gosh, these guys are amazing. And then they think they're all going, like it's Alabama, still only a handful of those guys get to the next level.
That's true.
And they are arguably the greatest athletes in college.
Yes.
And then they get to the next level, and all of a sudden you're like, that dude seems like he's enormous and heavy, still runs like a 4.2 40 and hits like a freight truck, So yeah, what was that like to jump from level to level like that?
Yeah, well, I think for me, jumping from level to level, a little bit different. I would have to say that. But I think for me, it was more of a mentality, because I had always throughout my career, Little League, any of those types of endeavors, was told not big enough, not fast enough, not strong enough. So at some point, I had to decide like what's going to be my ace of spade. Like obviously, if they're telling me height, weight, speed is the first top 3 that they're looking at, I'm going to have to develop something else. So I think the competitiveness for me was part of it. The fearlessness, you know what I mean? Willing to, we talk about like you got that linebacker or you have that Willie McGinnis that's coming across that line.
Yeah.
Are you going to sit in there in the pocket and block them, And that's more mentality than anything else.
Sure.
You got to already have your mind made up before you even walk into the game, whether or not you're going to take that on.
Like I said, I'd tapped out already. Oh, guys, my hammy's feeling a little, tight.
Yeah, so a little bit of that. Like I said, mentality, big component of that. And then also, you've got to endure.
For sure.
And I think that in terms of just like any profession, whether you're a drummer, a comedian, an actor, you've got to endure, those tough times.
I talk to my kids all the time about that. And it's about being, I'm always like on time, do the job. It's really, you're right, about enduring through this thing. Because, I did stand-up comedy in the first whatever times you've interviewed every stand-up, we bombed.
Sure.
A lot of people have tried it. They bombed and they go, I never want to feel like that again. And then there's crazy people who get hit, get their bell rung and jump up and go, let's do that again. The same way I bombed, walked off stage and was like, I couldn't wait to get back on.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then eventually you start to figure it out or you don't.
Yeah. So wait, so you two guys, comedian background.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie talked about bombing.
Yeah.
Do you? Okay.
I've never bombed, if you're asking. Yeah.
Well, if you're going to bomb, do you see that as you're delivering the material? Or is it based on someone heckling? Then like, okay, here it comes.
Yeah, you can answer, Jimmy.
Go ahead, you start.
Yeah. I was just going to say, stand-up in particular is such a give and take, right? And you're the only person on stage most of the time. Okay. Sometimes there's comedy duos, whatever. But if it's just you and the audience, it's such a give and take. And you can feel the energy in the room. Like, for me, doing a billion interviews or performing on stage, I can walk into a room and I already know what it feels like.
Gotcha.
You're going to have to work extra hard tonight, or this is a stiff crowd, or man, they're feeling it. They're on fire. I can throw them anything at them. They're going to love it. And it's such a give and take. But yeah, you're so in your own head anyway, you can feel every nook and cranny of the third person in the second row over there move their fork because they didn't dig the one word I said in that sentence. I mean, you're so hypersensitive to all of it. So when you feel the bomb coming on, you just have to make a choice. You're either, I'm going for broke, I don't care, and I'm going to practice my material because I have another show in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Or you're just
That's when it starts to go well, though.
Yeah.
Because you eventually become, I talk to my kids about this too, about becoming bulletproof, about like, I used to be on stage like 6 nights a week. So when I went to auditions, I was fearless the same way. It's so similar about like, I'm just going for it and saying, I don't care. And as soon as you relax and say, I don't really care what happens, then it all starts to play.
Regardless of the turnout.
Yeah.
Look,
then
I'm going to go out. Yeah. I'm going to show up.
Because you're in the moment, and you're not worried about what's going to happen. And there's no fear. You're fearless about doing whatever you're doing. I just did a show. I did a corporate gig. in Idaho Falls for this corporation. It was like 2,000 people in a hockey arena.
Oh, that's right.
Open space. Nobody drank. Stone sober. Which, by the way, I don't know if you know about comedy. Alcohol helps.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It helps in a lot of different ways.
Sure.
But 2,000 people, and I had to do an hour in front of this. And so it ended up going great because I've suffered so many times that I was like, yeah, I'll just tell my jokes. And the trick is if you have fun in life, then the other people watching you will have fun, especially performing, right? Yeah. Once you let your guard down. But if they can smell nerves. It's probably exactly the same in the NFL. When those guys are looking at you and your eyes are like, he goes, I'm going to ring this guy up. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? Standing back there in the backfield and I'm looking and I'm just like scouring over to see my defenders and I'm looking, trying to get that eye contact.
Sure.
Right. And if they are looking off and not looking me in the eye, I'll say, I got them.
You're just going to drop.
Oh, I got to go after
drop
them.
It. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. And that's as an offensive player. So I can imagine as a defensive player, how they like kind of get that idea of like who they're going to attack and whatnot. So.
Well, anybody who's a pro played both ways at some point in their life. So you must have played defense when you were a kid.
Special teams. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't have my hand raised up that I wanted to play special teams.
The best player in baseball is always the pitcher in like Little League. And
right.
then they find where they're going. But yeah. That's funny.
Wow.
So Jamie, in all your years of acting, how often do you come across working with athletes, that have either flipped the script, they left the sport, they're
The family stone was Brian White, who's JoJo White's son. He talked extensively about basketball. Well, the My Boys thing, we had that show where we went to, it was all the Hall of Fame baseball players. And so I met Bill Buckner.
Let's paint the picture for him. So My Boys, the show took place in Chicago.
It was about a sport.
Yeah.
It was a sports, she was a sports writer with her guy friends. And so we had a lot of athletes kind of pop through as cameos and stuff. And every time I'd be like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. How are you? Like even Bill Buckner, who's like maybe my height, maybe an inch smaller, from the old era or whatever. And I put my arm around him and it was just like metal. Like he was just pure muscle.
Yeah.
Like there's just a different.
It's the first time
to play 162 games, the same way to play 16 games a season. You get hit by a bus 16 weekends in a row. It's
Yeah, and now just imagine this, Jamie. They've added another game, so now it's 17.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't think they were going to do it.
Neither did I, but it's going to happen. So 18. I don't think they're too far off before they add 18 game.
I know.
Yeah,
a lot of money to be made.
I know. Well, talk about your fandom growing up. When you fell in love with sports, or like what drew you to sports, even just as a fan?
A baseball player so bad.
You did baseball, was your
baseball? I played them all in high school. I played baseball and Pop Warner football. I played.
Okay.
And then soccer became the one. I played basketball. Wasn't great at it, but back in those days, you could play every game. We had seasons, and you'd play every sport, and you kind of became a well-rounded athlete. And nowadays, if your kids, like my 10-year-old's on club soccer for like 11 months a year. And it's like, I don't want to do that. But the problem is if you don't put your kid into club at 10, they're never playing on their high school team because the other kids, have been training like 4 nights a week at the age of 10.
Yeah.
I think it's so overwhelming. And I think, a lot of kids burn out. And even now, my daughter's a lot of times, she's like, I don't want to go to practice. And I go, well, that says a lot. Because I don't remember once in my life not like, can't wait to go to practice and play the sport. She ends up going and having a blast and liking it, but it's always like they just want to be on their iPads.
Yeah.
It's so painful.
Motivation's
to watch,
different.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard to watch.
That's crazy. Yeah. Like Priest, for me in high school, I specifically remember we went to school, then we had high school soccer practice. Then my dad would drive me to my Premier League team, play games or practice there, then drive again and play late night between 10 and midnight indoor soccer. So I was doing like up to 3 games a day after school, then getting home and going, and that's how it was.
Yeah.
But
which is why you're illiterate and you cannot read because he never opened, he was just playing soccer all the time.
Yeah, he has special contact lenses in right now. I'm reading everything right off his eyeball. So it's going into my earpiece. I'm just repeating
it. It's just so different from when I grew up.
Breaking news from Bet365. New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. Win or lose. Sign up, place a bet for $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, player props, futures, and so much more. Whatever the moment is, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Hey, do you have a gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. Or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 21 plus only, 18 plus in Kentucky. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, and select parishes in Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. $10 minimum deposit required. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only.
This has been a Playmaker production.